So hey, there are 17,000 of you out there that have subscribed to my channel, and I've never talked to you directly. So this is me. I'm the guy that comments on all the stuff. But I've been asked to do videos of some of my setup and how I fight and how I pack my things and that kind of stuff. So this is the first video of that, and this is my first time doing any kind of a YouTube sort of thing that wasn't just a record of a fight. So bear with me. So one of the questions that I get pretty often is how I pack my armor in this bag here. So this is a Demon United flight bag, and what's important is that it is wide, and because it's wide you can fit a regulation minimum length pole arm for the duals category kind of diagonal through it here, and you won't get dinged for oversized luggage prices. This is the inside of the bag. I always note where the wheels are, because the wheels are where you're going to want to balance your bag and put the heaviest stuff, shoes, metal armor, that kind of thing. Right underneath here are the axes. The axe heads are really the most dense thing you have. Oh, and a great sword shaft right here, and some axe heads right here. You want those towards the bottom of the bag. And I've taken my gambeson and I've laid it inside here so the sleeves and everything are all lined up with the length of the bag, all lengthwise, so it fits in like that. See how it lines up with the bag here, and you shut it like that. I'd like to note something on how the leg armor is put in. The leg armor all sits inside of itself. We have the greaves, both sets of leg armor, axe handles, and the sword blade all sit along the inside length, giving this whole bag rigidity. And then you lay this in like that, close it up, no oversized luggage fees, and still run a polearm that doesn't have a detachable head. Another important feature of this bag that I liked is the skid plate on the bottom side. It really helps the bag's durability because you're not scraping it as you go upstairs. That's it right there. Pretty heavy duty plastic and heavy duty wheels. I have blown out one of the handles, but honestly I'm using this bag way out of spec. It's a snow board and or a double ski couples kit that's, you know, 170 centimeters long. This sword shaped boat anchor, essentially crowbar, sword shaped crowbar, is what I'll be using unless they have something cooler or bigger at the event in Utah. It's 7 pounds, and the quillion's been broken off but shaved down so it's safe. It's got a really heavy pommel on it too. It was sort of an idea of having a really large heavy sword for melee. Unfortunately, in my experience, it just didn't have the gusto. It didn't hit as hard as an axe did. So if I was going to have a two-handed weapon, I would prefer an axe over this. But this is a great sword tournament, long sword. I know there's some guys that want to fight me with that, so I'll have that. This large, heavy, blackened sword was a sword made by Little John, the smith. He's no longer with us, and kind of an heirloom for the sport. It was the longsword that pretty much everybody liked to use because it was forged and had a distal taper that went down the edge, and it could take an impact. It's kind of softer steel. You can see over the years of, you know, authentic battle damage, I guess, if you want to call it that. This is the size difference and shape difference of those two things. This one is much heavier. This one is much more balanced on the right and still hits about as hard, but I just don't want to risk breaking it because the maker is dead now, and his story is pretty interesting in itself. And this was the first sword the US used in the tournaments in Poland when we first entered the sport, so I don't want to risk breaking it. Always leave plenty of time to get to the airport because your bag will get searched. I collect these for fun. I often just leave them in the bag to get a good chuckle to myself. As you see, I've placed the armor in my suitcase. There are the wheels right there. It's laying on its back. A nice little note is this patchwork. It's done by my friend Matt from American Buhurt, and he makes axes and stuff, but he also mechanically patched this 304 stainless